Hi book friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylin and I hope you guys are doing so lovely. Today I am filming my June wrap up and it's my first wrap up here on this channel and I'm pretty excited to do it. I do wrap-ups over on TikTok, but those are like quick rapid fire like wrap-ups because you only have a certain amount of time. So this is the first time I actually get to like talk about my books. I'm such a nerd. I even made like a page in my Notion to keep track of my ratings, my thoughts, everything, so I don't miss out on anything because I will. I read 10 physical books and 1 audiobook this month. This was a pretty good reading month for me. I typically do not read that many books in a month, so I don't know what I was on in June, but I hope that keeps going for the rest of the year because that was great. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to go by my least rated book all the way up to my highest rated book. That just makes more sense in my mind. It's how I wrote it down in my Notion, so that's how we're going to do it. I actually didn't have any 1-star or just 2-star books. I had a lot of 2.5 and 3-star and 3.5 and like 1 5-star book. So the first of my lowest rated books. So the first book I'm going to talk about is Darling Girl by Liz Michalski. If I mispronounce authors' names, I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with pronouncing names. I'm also very bad at giving summaries. So I just want to say this right now. I'm not going to give a summary for every single book. I'm sorry. If I did, this video would be so long and I just quite frankly don't want to do that. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is a Peter Pan reimagining and it actually was a very cool Peter Pan reimagining. We follow the granddaughter of Wendy and her daughter was taken by Peter, who actually ends up being the daughter's dad, and I thought that was just such a cool concept and I was so excited to go into this book, but sadly it just didn't do it for me. It was slow at times. It was there was a very weird moment between Peter and Wendy's granddaughter. It was just very weird, very awkward. I felt very weird reading it. Maybe because we've grown up with Peter Pan being like, is he a Disney star? What is he? Being a fairy tale, you know, stuff, you know what I'm saying. So it was just very weird to see him written in a different way, but yeah, I gave this a 2.5. The next book is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. Now, I have read this series multiple times, but it's been easily 10 years since I have read this series. So I was very curious to see how I'd feel about it going into reading it as a 28-year-old versus like an 18-year-old. So I did like this book. I enjoyed it. The summer vibes were there. This is such a good book to read if you're going to the beach or the pool or the lake, wherever you're going. If you're going on vacation, this is such a good book to bring because it's so easy to read and it's one of those books that's bingeable. In fact, the whole series is very bingeable. I read this book in one sitting. I gave this book a 2.5 star. The next book I want to talk about is Party World by Abby Jimenez. I have read her other books. I think she has 3 other books. I've read them all, loved them all. And so I was very excited about this book. I was anticipating it. So going into it, I had high hopes for it. Well, they just went, I did not like the main character, Alexis. She was very annoying and aggravating to me. The way she still let her parents rule her life when she's in her 30s, I thought was just very like, I just wanted to shake her. The only reason why this book got a rating was for Daniel. I love Daniel. He made a date in the back of a pickup truck at a drive-in and had a cheese board and wine, and I was just like, wow, where's my Daniel? I love Daniel. He deserves better. That's all I'm going to say. Did I say I gave this book a 2.5? The next book I want to talk about is actually an audiobook, and that is Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. Now, I've read All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. Remember absolutely loving it. This one, I loved the vibes it gave. It gave off the East Coast coastal vibes. the bougie neighborhood, the neighborhood drama where everyone is in everyone's business. There was a couple that was killed in the middle of the night by carbon monoxide poisoning, and I was like, wow, going to this, I was like, yes, this is going to be good, this is going to be great. It was alright. It's a great book to listen to when you're going on a walk by yourself, because that's exactly what I did. That's when I listened to it. Only reason why I gave it such a low rating is because I really don't remember the entire book, and that says something, because usually I remember just a little something about books, but this one I just can't remember. Like, I remember enjoying it while I was walking and listening to it, but after, I just didn't think about it after I stopped listening to, like, after I was done listening to it, so yeah, it got a 2.5. Next book I read was Hold Still by Nina Lacour. Now, this is my second Nina Lacour book, and the first one, absolutely loved it. I went into reading her books not really knowing anything about this author, like, at all, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I really like this book a lot. It kind of showcased that when you lose someone you love, just because they're not here physically, they're never leaving you. They're with you in other ways, and it was just a beautiful message this book sent, and I gave it a 3-star. The next book I want to talk about is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Do not hate me for what I'm about to say about this book, but this one just didn't do it for me. I love Emily Henry. Beach read, amazing. People with me on vacation, phenomenal. That book, she put something in that book. That book was so good. So I had very high expectations with this book. And this was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and it just didn't hit. I think it was, actually, I know it was because of the sister Libby. Hated her. She ruined the entire book for me. I just wanted her, like, out of the story. Out of the story, gone. I hated it. It was, I cannot explain how much I disliked Libby as a character. Didn't like her. This book just, it didn't feel like an Emily Henry book to me at all. I will say some things I did love about this book is the small town cozy vibes. Absolutely adored that. The way this book had books in the plot, loved it. Absolutely adored it. Nora, I liked Nora. She reminded me a lot about myself, especially when she was like,
I don't want to sleep in a man's bed when I can sleep in mine, and mine is so comfortable. I get you, Nora. I get you.
Charlie, is that his name? Yeah, Charlie. Love Charlie. The sexual tension between Charlie and Nora, especially in that, what was it, the lake scene or the pool scene, wherever they're at with the water. Wow. Yeah. I gave this book a 3-star. The next book is It's Not Summer Without You, also by Jenny Han. This is the second book of Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy, and I love this one so much more than the first one. I think because we see a lot of growth in Belly as a character, and we see her discover her self-worth and what she deserves. And you know what? She does deserve someone who would ask her to prom and remember to bring her little, what is it, a corsage, and who will dance with her and not have to ask someone to dance with her or beg them to dance with her. And I loved how we got chapters from Jeremiah. It was so interesting to see Jeremiah's point of view on this entire Belly Conrad situation, and then just his thoughts and feelings throughout the whole book and what was happening. I really adored it. This book was a lot more emotional than the first one. I did cry, and I gave this book a 3-star. The next book I want to talk about is The Ones We're Meant to Find. First off, the cover, stunning. This is probably one of the most beautiful books I own. This book, it was weird and confusing, but I liked it. I feel like if this book was a duology, it would have been so much better. This book needed to be longer because we got little to no world building. We got little to no, like, character growth. We didn't get really much that you get in, like, sci-fi or fantasy books. And I think that was the issue with this book. And this book was very confusing. Like, very confusing. It just jumped straight into the politics of this world and what the world was about. And I was like, whoa. First off, I don't even know what you're talking about. Maybe because it was a sci-fi book. I don't really tend to read sci-fi books. So maybe that was my issue. But I I did like the storyline. It was a great storyline. The plot twist that happened in this book, I was like, oh, you have got to be kidding me. So, yeah, I listened to this book on audio, so it went by very fast. I gave this book a 3-star. The next book is The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark. I did like this book. I thought it was very clever the way the author wrote this book for you to sympathize with Meg, who was the con artist. She was the bad guy, quote unquote, when in my opinion the males that she conned were the bad ones. I loved how this book ended. I thought it wrapped up beautifully. I will say this is a great book to binge. I think this book is better if you binge it, and I gave this book a 3-star. The next book is Girl A by Abigail Dean. Now, I feel really strange saying I like this book because of what this book is about. If you don't know what this book is about, go look it up. I am not going to say the summary just because it could be triggering to some people. Also, if you are interested in reading this book, please look up trigger warnings before going into it because it's a very heavy read. But this is one of those books that you could sit and read in one sitting and not feel like you just read over 300 pages. It was so quick and bingeable and just, I don't know. I don't know what it is about this book that I really liked, but I did really like it, and I gave it a 3.5. The next book is actually my only 5-star read of the month, and that is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Shirley. This book I went into having absolutely no idea what this book is about. I did not think I would love this book as much as I did and do love, but this book was amazing. What this story's about, wow. It made me think of my mom, which made me get emotional while reading this book. If I were to reread this book again, this is where I want to read it at. Let me set the scene. Okay, you're at your vacation and you're at the beach and you had just got done being at the beach all day. You just went out to a lovely dinner. You come back, you shower, you get in your comfy clothes, and it's still light out, but it's getting near to sunset. And you grab a glass of white wine and you sit out on the dock in a chair with this book and you open it, and that's when you read it. Oh my god. That would be the perfect scenario to read this book again because, wow. This book, the writing made me feel like I was with Katie in Italy. It's just amazing, and go read this book. Highly suggest it, and it's super short. This book did make me cry though. I think I said that already, but it made me cry. I cried on like page 8. I was like, oh, here we go. Okay, you guys, those were the 11 books I read this month. Like I said, it was a pretty great reading month. I'm pretty proud of myself. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below so we can chit chat about them. Also, what did you guys read this month? Let me know because a girl's curious. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of me. I put out weekly vlogs every single Monday. And also, don't forget to follow me on my social medias. Actually, I dare you to follow me on my social medias. I dare you. I triple dog dare. That was very aggressive. I'm so sorry. If you want to follow me on my social medias, they are always linked down below. And I will catch you guys in my next video.
Yeah. She asked me, really, do you love me? I said